is doing well. It's beginning to rain a little bit. Cloudy day. I don't think this is going to have an impact on the polls, really. All right. Well, it's been a very challenging 2, 3 years now. Lockdowns, mandates, everything, the riots, the rising costs of so many items. It's just been really challenging, and this is why this election is very important. I'm right here, believe it or not, at the Las Vegas Convention Center. If you guys want to take a look, I can show you later on. All right, so what's the forecast for 2022? Now, a lot of signs are pointing that there's a red wave, and I know a lot of you are definitely very, very concerned that there's not going to be a turnout, that there's going to be a lot of cheating. Now, before I begin, I want to make this very clear. I don't believe politicians and elections are going to be the medicine to a lot of our problems. I think a lot of our problems are very cultural, which I have discussed in previous and I will in future videos. I am aware that you've got these brilliant minds like comedian George Carlin who says, well, elections are illusion of choice. Forget these politicians. You have the owners of the country that run it all. I know those things. I'm certainly aware about that, but we still have to try. And I'm certainly aware of voices from the zeitgeist movement, resource-based economy, that science, technology, arts can do a lot of things. In fact, there's a reason why I'm here in Vegas, because I believe that planning, design, those things can have a significant impact and solve a lot of our problems in elections. However, we still have to do our best to get better people in charge. We can't just simply give up. Of course, our efforts has significantly made a difference over time. Now let's talk about the forecast. Let's start with other states. Now, do I see some people are saying New York State, Washington, those states are, likely going to flip in terms of their governor and then the Senate seat. I'm not really sure about that. Again, anything is possible, but the odds are just not high. And I'm also not really sure about Oregon, to tell you the truth, although that has a slightly higher chance it will go Republican. As far as I'm concerned, I think Florida, Texas, many of those other states are going to be solidly red. North Carolina, Ohio, that's going to go pretty red. I think J.D. Vance is going to win. So let's start with New Hampshire. New Hampshire, I think it's a toss-up. I'm not really sure anything that can happen. I am more optimistic about Pennsylvania. Now, I don't trust Mehmet Oz, I think because he's a mainstream media guy. It's really just hard to say at this point. But I do believe he has a pretty good chance of flipping the seat. If you've seen that debate, it felt like it was a Saturday Night Live skit. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's got a pretty good chance. Georgia, I think Herschel Walker is going to get it. Honestly, if Brian Kemp's going to win re-election, I don't see why Herschel Walker cannot win, to be honest with you. And it's interesting that those states, along with Arizona, which I believe Blake Masters has a pretty good chance, same with Kari Lake. I would love to have Kari Lake running for this state. It's interesting that all those three states, I believe they have a pretty good chance of winning. The odds of them winning is not as good as here in this state of Nevada. And I'm going to get to that right now because, remember, those states had a higher chance of going red in the previous elections than the ones before. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Masto and Sisolak, who are running for re-election, they're not very popular. They went too far. And that's what I was telling at the meeting at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. I was telling them that, these lockdowns, everything, were they necessary? I didn't say they go too far. I'm not saying it was a bad idea, but it's just a way to indirectly tell them this was a totally foolish, insane mistake that they did. Sometimes you have to play the cards right. So as far as Nevada concerned, now I'm going to tell you this. I haven't voted yet. I do believe there's a pretty good chance that Laxalt and Lombardo are going to win. A lot of polls. Again, the polls are looking better for Republicans in 2018, in 16. And I know there's some people like John Ralston saying, well, Lex Salt's not going to win. Well, he didn't predict the Attorney General election when he was running in 2014. Do you remember that? Think about it. So don't really rely on those people too well. I do believe there's a very good chance of them winning. Again, I don't think it's like 70, 80%, but I would say their odds are pretty good. Again, I'm not voting for Lombardo. I'm not voting for Laxalt. It's just, I have the memories of Dean Heller and Brian Sandoval. I have a feeling they're going to be like that. So, you want to call me whatever you want, but if they don't turn out to be well, at least I'm not going to regret my vote. Now, I'll tell you who I am going to be voting for. I'm going to be voting for other statewide races. And let's just talk about the worst case and the best case scenario. Look, even what's his name? Ralston is predicting Lombardo is going to win. And even predicts that Republicans like Stavros Anthony, the current city council member for Las Vegas, he is going to win. So, worst case scenario, I think Republicans are going to pick up a few state offices. I think Stavros is going to win. I have a good feeling Andrew Matthews is going to win. I am not too optimistic about Michelle Fiore. What's that other guy's name? Jim Marchant and Segal Shada. Although I will say this, I do appreciate and I will support those people for running for office. I mean, I think Segal Shada is going to be a pretty likely a pretty good attorney general. I haven't heard a lot of dirt on Stavros Anthony. Michelle Fiore, I mean, you tell me, should I support her? I mean, she's under an FBI investigation. She kind of has an attitude, but I will say her record is pretty good. If you look at the homeless ordinance, if you look at the Bundy Ranch, if you look at the taxes, a lot of other things, she's done a pretty good job. So I guess, yeah. I just really don't want the other guy to win, Zach Corzine, whatever his name is. I don't want him to win. So, best case scenario, I think 6 out of 6 are definitely going to win. It's going to look pretty damn good. Now, moving on to Congress, I believe that we're going to see one of them flip, at least, worst case scenario, because everybody's predicting now, even Real Clear Politics is predicting that April Becker, who, well, I guess you can argue they cheated against her 2 years ago. Maybe that's a good thing because now there's a pretty good chance of flipping Susie Lee. And I'm not a fan of Susie Lee. You've seen the town halls. You've seen all these aspects of how she treated me and everybody else. Looking at the comments, I'm surprised Nevada said it's favored to win. Yeah, because people are really fed up. The polls are really looking better. I think we're seeing a lot of shifts in the kinds of people that live here, the demographics and so forth. So this is really a good sign. I think, yeah, Susie Lee is not going to make it. She has all the scandals. Now, the ones that really, I think, have a lower chance, I still can see 4 out of 4 seats in Nevada go red, and that is Mark Robertson. Now, Emerson did a poll, believe it or not, and they pointed out that Robertson, which I saw so many of his signs today, he has a better chance of flipping Dina Titus' seats. Now, you can see Dina Titus, man. You've seen how I've approached her. She's like walked away. The polls have him ahead like more than 10 points. Can you believe it? It's interesting how far things have gotten. So maybe this Democrat gerrymandering they did last year really backfired. A lot of things they do, they try to benefit themselves, it backfires. And I think this election has shown it. Look, I know these elections, you can rely on them. You can say they're an illusion of choice. But you still have to try. You still have to make a difference. You still have to get out to the polls. And honestly, like, with the exception of maybe a few out there, like, who would vote Democrat? Just tell me, why would you vote Democrat? Tell me, honestly. As far as the Sam Peters race, he's a cool guy. I saw him debate. Horsford's got a lot of scandals. I'm not sure he's going to do as well as April Becker. I think he's got a pretty good chance. I mean, he served in the military. I think the Air Force Base voters are going to come and turn out. I live in Michigan. It's going blue. It tended blue a lot like Minnesota. White women are going Democrat. Well, we have a lot of white women. I'm sure they're going to go red here in the state because they're fed up with the schools and the lockdowns and everything. I have to tell you that. If white women only voted, this state would go red. And we're still seeing shifts among other types of people as well. Well, we'll really have to see. But I just think that if we get one seat in Congress that's going to flip in this state, it's going to be certainly a step forward to where this country is going. A lot of people can argue. Now let's move on to the state legislature because those matter a lot. Don't just go out to the polls and just vote like just Senate and Congress and that's it, and governor. Are you kidding me? Or statewide offices. You need to vote for state assembly. You need to vote for state senate. They matter. They matter. You see how they put all these laws and stuff. Get out there and make sure you mark almost every single option that's out there. Now let me give you my prediction. Now, John Rolstein, he's saying that the state senate is not going to change. Really, in this red wave with all the polls we're having, I see worst case scenario, one state senate seat is going to flip. I'm not sure which is going to be. I'm sure it's going to flip. Because remember, let's go back to 2014. Back then, we had falling gas prices. Back then, Obama's approval rating was higher. Back then, you didn't have all these crazy policies that they're trying to put in now compared to 6, 7, 8 years ago. What happened? The economy, many argue, was in better shape. Now, of course, back then, the Republicans had, they were doing better in donor money. We had Sandoval running re-election. He was favored in the establishment. The Culinary Union wasn't there. And by the way, I saw one of their members today. It's just laughable. But yeah, the Culinary is pushing. They weren't pushing in 2014 because, of course, they were a fan of Sandoval. But remember, people are a lot more angry. People are a lot more upset. And I think this is a pretty good chance. I think the legislature, Senate, and Assembly, or at least one of them, is going to flip. Yeah, the Harry Reid machine is working overtime, but this guy passed away. He passed away. And by the way, I heard the Reid family is involved in the Hunter Biden, Ukraine, Burisma, whatever scandal that's going on. So we're going to have to see how this really plays out. It's really disgusting how these casino elites and these culinary scumbag unions with their identity politics promote these scumbag globalist politicians. This is one of the reasons why we have these unions of mass immigration. Think about it. The open borders is just killing us. I heard like 5 million apprehensions at the border. We need to do something, man. This is not fair to my family. So, going back to the state legislature, I think we're going to pick up a minimum of 3 seats in the assembly. And the best case scenario, I think we're going to be in the majority. I don't know about districts like here in the center of the Las Vegas Valley is going to flip. Let's not kid ourselves. Downtown, Northtown, I don't think those areas are going to flip. But I do see areas like around the Spring Valley area, Rhodes Ranch, Blue Diamond, Southern Highlands, a lot of those areas, maybe around Centennial, Summerlin. I think a lot of those areas are going to flip. Now, I'm not sure about the Reno, Sparks area. You tell me, what do you think is going to happen there? I don't spend a lot of attention there. Maybe I should, because maybe it's easier to organize. Now, let's go on to the county commission. Now, all right, everybody. This is why local elections matter. This is why you got to do your part to make sure that a lot of policies are implemented locally. And the county commission is not looking as good as it should be. I saw Jim Gibson several minutes ago at the meeting. I don't think he's going to lose his seat. The campaign that was done against him and Sickerbloom, obviously, I have to tell you, it's snowing up here. Yeah, but look, I don't think the snow is going to do anything. Let's be honest here. I don't think they're going to lose. However, worst case scenario, I think they're going to put some mail-in votes, and I can't go further in deeps because I think YouTube's going to take down this video, and they're going to flip the vote so Drew Johnson doesn't win, which I saw 2-3 weeks ago, and then Justin Jones is going to win re-election. But I have to tell you something, folks. Justin Jones is in a lot of scandals. So if he wins re-election, all these people win re-election, it's not going to look good for them next year, 2 years, because they were promoting the vaccines and all this other nonsense. And when the chickens comes to roost, these people are going to have to be resigned, and they're probably going to be behind bars. Best case scenario, I think Drew Johnson's got a really good chance. Remember, the sentiment is looking a lot better than last year and the years before. Yeah, we have problems in Maricopa County. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise. I mean, who would vote for Mark Kelly? Honestly, I see journalists Twitter mocking the bad weather in some of the red counties in Nevada. This is ridiculous. Yeah, but Drew Johnson's got to win. And school board, it's not looking good, folks. Our efforts at the local level has got to improve. I mean, the school board meetings is looking like a goddamn circus. Unbelievable. Now, as far as city council meetings, I think that the Republicans are going to get those 2 seats in the Las Vegas City Council. As far as Henderson, best case scenario, Kerry Cox is going to win. On the other hand, I think the more establishment candidate, Trish Nash, is going to get that seat. She's well known, although I would prefer any of those two over John Mars, because I saw him like several minutes ago with Jim Gibson. They're pals, man. They're part of the LDS group, cabal, whatever you want to call it. This is what's really been probably secretly running this town. Think about it. Why hasn't there been any current elected official who ran against Jim Gibson? Because they're all tied together, folks. Jim Gibson was the former mayor of Henderson. You guys need to organize. Maybe we need to start doing some recall petitions next year. It's absolutely unbelievable. All right. Well, there's some sunshine coming out. This is looking pretty good. Looks like we're not going to get a lot of rain. Wow. We really got to do a lot of effort. So let me look at the comments here. Yeah, Mark Kelly's a pit bull owner. Goodness gracious. We really, really got to get out there. I'm really nervous. I can't do this. I'm 30 years old, man, and this election can mean a hell of a lot to me. Yeah, there's a mafia in Utah. Yeah, the GOP turnout is looking good. Like, the polls are looking better. There's got to be some change from 2 years ago, folks. I mean, Joe Biden's approval rating, they say it's like 40%. Bull. It's like 30% or less. Who the hell likes this guy? I'm the one who protested this piece of crap 2.5 years ago, months before the whole pandemic. I can't believe this. I mean, who would support these current policies? Oh, yeah, we want to solve climate change. Yeah, you really think this is real because of what we went through for the last 2.5 years? Jesse Smollett, Russian collusion, everything that they've been pushing around. Give me a break. And what have these guys have been doing? Have they been reducing the gap between the rich and the poor? No. They're not talking about kitchen table issues. All they're just talking about is race, gender, crises issues that they have no direct evidence for. Give me a break. They had what was it called? A LGBT presentation for the Pride Parade last month. It's disgusting. You know me, I'm Persian. I can't stand this stuff. My family would tell me so much about this is an illness. People need to wake up. I'm proud to be a heterosexual. And by the way, speaking of North Las Vegas mayor, I think Pamela is going to win. She's got a pretty good chance. I hope, what's her name? Pat Spearman is not going to win. She's like the Maxine Waters of this state. Wow. I just saw her, said hello to her. She's pretty cool. All right. Now, looking forward later today, we have to see the polls. We have to see how it goes. We have to see how New Hampshire, Pennsylvania goes. Do I support a school voucher system? I don't know, man. I just believe that, look, test scores, they don't really reveal if kids are really learning. Schools just got to be more flexible in how they teach kids. Everybody learns differently. So, this idea of going to school a certain time, homework, all this and that, we got to be more flexible. We got to have not flexibility of school choice, but how we want to learn. Because we can choose the DMV office where we want to go, but it's still pretty much similar crap service. Think about it. We have to see if the turnout is really good, if things are going to flip, then it's going to look very good for Nevada because Nevada chances are better than all these other swing states, except for Ohio or North Carolina, if you can call them swing states. That's the thing. And if the turnout is looking good in those states, I don't think that Joe Gloria is the election rigging machine, the fraud and everything. I don't think they can go so far because I think if they do, it's going to look very, very obvious. Remember, if they had total control, we wouldn't see some changes, some seats flip in the state in 2020. Think about it. They have their limits. And we know that if we come in very, very strong numbers, that it's able to make a big difference. And a lot of people say 2016 was rigged against Trump, even though he won. Again, there was such a very, very high number that it was enough to overturn the cheating. But then they came in with the mail-in ballots later on, and that's how we got 2020. Yet these are the same people who said, well, 2016, it was rigged, there was Russian collusion, and all that other stuff. And then Stacey Abrams says, no, I'm not conceding for 2018. And it's laughable how she's running. By the way, Sam Dixon, my friend, if you know who he was part of the Murren conference. He says he's not, I'm not going to tell you he's supporting, but he's not a fan of Brian Kemp. So maybe sometimes people will tend to vote for like the other candidates. So as a way to punish for selling out. All right. I'm going to probably do some poll watching. It's at 965 Trade Drive. I believe it's in the city of North Las Vegas. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to see what I can do, see some red flags. If anything happens, I'll go live. I'll let you know. I'll give you some updates. Man, I'm very, very concerned about this. This is very, very important. We got to do our part. You guys let me know what you think. Let's take a look at the comments. Yeah. All right, let's just step outside. Okay, everybody. I'm in the Las Vegas Convention Center. I just rode down Vegas Tunnel. Not that many people. The weather's pretty good. It's a little bit on the cool side. You can see they're finishing up Mountain Blue in the Convention Center. Let's see if that tower is going to be coming up. I spoke to the Flynn executive just recently about what happened to me 2.5 years ago. Yeah, Madison. Let's see what's going on. Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's very cloudy today. So, all right, I don't know if should I go forward or not, but you guys know if there's any good polls around here I can go to? Because I don't have my card, but if I can show them my ID, maybe they'll probably let you know what's going on. So yeah, there's the monorail, which I don't think it's going to be operational anytime soon. What a joke of a project that really, really was, I have to say. So we got the Renaissance. Yeah, the neighborhood's pretty dead. I think everybody's going to vote and they're watching their televisions. Maybe this is a good sign for people who are hoping for a red wave. Oh yeah, look at these cars they had at the SEMA show. That looks really nice. Yeah, World Trade Center. We go right here. Yeah, I really like the Vegas Loop. It's about time where they had that system being built. Unfortunately, the monorail wasn't that good, so they had to just basically do what they can. Yep, there's the West Gate. Oh yeah, my stuff just flew out. Yeah, not so busy today, unfortunately. We don't have a lot of 9 to 5ers out here, in case if you were wondering, compared to other cities. All right, I'm just gonna, I don't want to wait in this traffic light. There's a stratosphere. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. The gas prices. I know it's like $2.99 in other states. They're rigging the price. I have to tell you that. Oh yeah, there's another crosswalk. All right, everybody. Beautiful skies. Nice weather. Temperatures are in the upper 60s. Looks really nice. All right, you let me know what you guys think. Las Vegas. Yeah, you can see here they're working on this hotel, Fontainebleau. Thank God. It's about time. Seriously. All right, let me just get out, make a left turn. You got any questions, comments, or anything? You let me know. All right, we're just gonna take one view of the Fontainebleau, see something going on. Looks like they're finishing up the exterior glass.
See you guys.